Worcester Common Ground was founded in 1988 as a community land trust. Its purpose was to acquire and rehabilitate housing and to keep it permanently affordable. The early years were much like many site-based organizations. There was a small staff with an ear to the community and creative solutions to problems. Worcester Common Ground's first venture beyond the acquisition of permanently affordable housing and land was the cooperative housing movement. During this phase, Worcester Common Ground developed several cooperatives.
The co-op model, what they have is an equity interest. They could leave in 10 years or 30 years, and they would leave with some cash, and that allows them to, that basically economically empowers them. It makes their situation as a lower-income family a little better off than they would have been otherwise.
These cooperatives were owner-driven housing with management assistance from Worcester Common Ground. With over 30 individual apartments in 1994, Worcester Common Ground became a large property manager. The next important phase was the creation of the ground lease. This lease allowed Worcester Common Ground to sell affordably priced homes to first-time home buyers. The ground-based lease enabled Worcester Common Ground to assure that future sale prices of these homes would be permanently affordable. In 1996, Worcester Common Ground moved into their current offices on Bellevue Street. Under the direction of Executive Director Paul Yushenskas, Worcester Common Ground's Board of Directors began to discuss the possibility of becoming a community development corporation. It became apparent that the strong communities they had envisioned required more than just housing. In the mid-1990s, Worcester Common Ground was able to purchase distressed housing from the City of Worcester. These buildings had been acquired through tax title or damaged by fire and abandoned. The first-time home buyer program started here, and the training provided for the first-time homeowners remains a model today.
I came in September of '89. I lived in 10 Newberry Street, apartment 5, when the neighborhood was really, really bad. Then the opportunity came for us to buy the house, this house. Worcester Common Ground has always been there to help us out in any way, especially with the houses. Because, I mean, even though they were renewed to better houses and to help the middle-class people, there's always some problem with houses, but Worcester Common Ground is always there for us.
Worcester Common Ground realized that the inclusion of affordable rental units allowed them to offer homes to buyers with a modest income, which could be supplemented by the income from the rental units. It also expanded the number of quality rental units available in Worcester. The three-decker housing stock was ideal for this program.
Worcester Common Ground has turned the whole thing around single-handedly because I think the neighborhood association here, we call it the Crown Hill Neighborhood Association, has done a lot. Preservation Worcester has been very helpful, as well as Common Ground and Worcester Community Housing Resources. So there have been a lot of players in redoing the neighborhood and keeping it in good shape.
In the late 1990s, Worcester Common Ground's rental projects on Chatham and Austin Streets replaced a neighborhood blight with historically correct, affordable apartments. At the same time, they continued to increase home ownership.
I was on the board of directors for Worcester Common Ground for several years, and we worked on issues of how to provide decent, affordable housing. And I watched and helped the organization move from rental property to owner-occupied property. And Worcester Common Ground's mission has always been the same: how to improve neighborhoods by improving housing for the people that live in those neighborhoods.
It was not all hard work. There were many street festivals, community meetings, and events. The quality and complexity of Worcester Common Ground's work continues to evolve in the 21st century, particularly the development of mixed-use buildings. Our first partnership was with Eddie and Bilia Jimenez.
I came to Worcester in 2001, where I brought my family and we worked on the store. We bought the building, where we 6-unit apartment building upstairs. We tried to fix it on our own. It was very difficult until we talked to Steve and Yvette, and they helped us out with Worcester Common Ground.
Every Worcester Common Ground project now has at least 4 or 5 sources of funds. The first new homes built by Worcester Common Ground were on Austin and Bancroft Streets, built on abandoned lots that had been used as illegal dump sites. That brings us to today. Worcester Common Ground's biggest project ever is at 9 May Street. The historic restoration of the former Hammond Organ Reed factory into 46 affordable apartments is nearing completion. There have been over 250 applications for the 46 units, and these units will not be available until January 2009. The demand for these units highlights the need for affordable housing in Worcester. Over the past 20 years, Worcester Common Ground has accomplished a great deal in our city and neighborhoods. But the need for quality, affordable housing remains constant. From the original visions of David Vogel, the first executive director of Worcester Common Ground, and Paul Grossbeck, its first president, the primary goal has remained the same: to provide affordable, quality housing. Worcester Common Ground makes every effort to be available to people who have purchased housing from them, and continues to be available as a source of support.